What's going on, guys? This is Mark from S.A.B Kennels, and we're just gonna start this video out by shouting out everybody that's supporting this channel, man. Keep subscribing, keep liking the videos. I really appreciate it, and we're gonna keep trying to bring y'all good content. Also, shout out to my boy Repo at RDK Kennels. He's a good friend of mine, man, and he knows these dogs. And he's real good dog, man. So I like to give him a shout out. And my boy Brian at BNC Bully Kingdom, I like to give him a shout out too. That's my dude too, man. And those are two real good guys, man. So I think a shout out to those two guys. So if you follow the channel, then you know I'm real big on like breeding properly and understanding genetics and stuff while you're breeding and what's happening genetically when you're making these breedings. So hopefully I came up with like a little diagram or something that you can look at and kind of see what's going on genetically when you're breeding these dogs. So here we go. So you make your first breeding. You got two dogs and you make your first breeding. So boom, there's your gene pool from your first breeding. There's these puppies. So these are the genes that's inside this genetic gene pool when you made your first breeding. Okay, then you decided that you're gonna line breed off of that breeding that you just did. So when you line breed, you're line breeding relatives, but they're not closely related. They're distant related relatives. So there's like aunt to uncles, cousins, and stuff like that. So they're related, but they're not directly related. But at some point, you're going to run into a common ancestor. And then from that point on, the pedigree is going to be the same. So you line breed, and you're going to open up this gene pool just a little bit. Not much, because you still got common ancestors. So, but the new blood is going to force it to open up a little bit. So then you have these genes in here. So now you're pulling from all these genes in here. You see the gene pool opens up a little bit when you line breed, but it's still a tight pool. So that means by doing the line breeding, you're hoping to copy or to duplicate the genes that you made in the first breeding here. That is why you do the line breeding, to copy or to pass on all these traits in here. But you have to remember when you're doing this, these are all the genes. So all the good traits, all the big heads and the chest and the great rears is also in here with the flaws and the mange and the underbites and whatever else. So it's the flaws and everything. So when you breed and you're line breeding for the good traits, but you also may get bad traits as well because they're in here too. And when you line breed or when you inbreed, you reinforce the good traits and you also reinforce bad traits also. So you that's the line breed. When you inbreed, the genetic pool is basically gonna stay the same because the blood is the same. You introduce no new blood. You just bred brother to sister. So the genetic pool is going to be the same, which you have a good chance of copying the genes from the first breeding, but you also have a good chance of copying and making flaws stronger also. So you've line bred and you inbred and you got this tight gene pool. So now you have to outcross. So when you outcrossing is introducing a whole new blood to your program. So you're going to introduce completely non-related blood that have no similar relatives in the pedigree at all. So once you outcross, you're going to open up this gene pool even more. That's a big open up. Now that kind of blows that gene pool up because the the blood that they're introducing is all new blood. It's not related at all. So now you have these genes in here. So it gets a little bit bigger. So now you have all these genes in here that you're pulling from. And that's basically how you do it. When you outcross and you get out here and you open up this gene pool, you see the gene pool is getting bigger. And then say if you say if a stud comes up and you want to outcross again, so you outcross again and it opens up that gene pool even more. Now what you're doing is you're opening up the gene pool, so yes, you're probably going to get healthier dogs because you're introducing new and fresh and blood, but it's also going to be harder to maintain a certain look when you keep outcrossing. Once you outcross and you introduce new blood and you get out here and you get all these genes, it's time to start line breeding and inbreeding back again so you can close this gene pool back off, so then you have a greater chance of duplicating the look that you want. That's the whole key when you do a line breeding or you do an inbreeding, is to duplicate. And then when you outcross to introduce good fresh blood so you can clean up all the flaws, or you can open up the gene pool because you're starting to get too tight. So if you do not outcross, then you're definitely going to start running into the flaws and the problems that you have with excessive inbreeding. Skin issues, structure issues, fertility problems, stuff like that. So when you outcross and you get out here and you open up that gene pool, it's time to start closing that gene pool down with some line breeds and some inbreedings, so you can close that gene pool back off, so it gets smaller, so it's pretty selective, so you have a better chance of duplicating the genes that you wanted to duplicate from previous breedings. So I hope y'all guys understand it. Hope y'all guys can see it, and I hope this helps you some people out. And y'all have a good day, man, and keep bulldogging.